Yo, yo, it's been a little bit of time. That means things have busted and gone wrong. And yes, we do have a failure. For as smooth flowing as his surge rail is, the reprinted front mount has definitely met its match. Mainly because I cheaped out this time. Instead of printing at 100% infill, decided to try and go with a 5-ply outer ring, outer wall, and then maybe like 40% infill, which that was not a good idea, and that has immediately failed. So now I'm going to go with something I'm going to call the fused system, where the bottom piece of tongue that connects the slider to the main drive is going to be its own piece, and the top piece will be reusable. So imagine like a big slice coming out of this guy straight down here, so that way if this does break in the future, I'm not reprinting this entire piece. I'm only replacing what is broken, similar to you replacing a fuse. So that should solve that. What else? Still got all kinds of screws rattling loose on this guy. There's so much vibration on this rig when it's running that it seems every bolt does not want to stay in its place. So there will be a Loctite round coming up. And here, these are fun. This was a little cap that is now let out the smoke, but they used to be up on one of these driver boards. Here, this one's pumping out 12. The other one was pumping out 5 until the LED strip that I had overdrew the current, and these went pop. And when they went pop, they not only did they blow up, but somehow it destroyed its soldered connection from the board and popped off like a bullet. So I'm curious if that is by design, so you know that it doesn't make sense why usually when these capacitors blow up, the Electrolux style, the webbing pops out like a piece of popcorn. So it's pretty cool to see this fail by blowing off there. But there's the other one. There's 2 of them that went. But not an issue. Now this guy, this is much more amperage capacity. So all the LEDs are working. Main issue is the surge is down. Still working on the wiring to get it tidied up. And now we got 2 wheel mounts. Went to the QR2 system, so that side is where the oval wheel is mounted. MPI wheel, when it's not being used, can easily reach it in the cockpit, sliding it over. And if I wanted to switch to a road car, got the GSI X29 mounted right here, ready to go. It is wired, but where that wire wraps, it's out of the way and not an issue. Built this little button box here. This is going to be to switch on the servos eventually, so that way I don't have to go over to that green button there and flip them on out of the rig. Here we go, belt tensioner. This guy, this mount did do what I thought it would do. It doesn't have enough stiffness in this axis to maintain its rigidity, and then our connector here was never printed long enough to accept enough of the shaft to get multiple insets in here to index into the correct portion to hold the belt tight. So again, 3D printing iteration. This is phase 1 of this design. So there are now new parts. Those new parts look like this. Here we go. This is the connector, much longer portion. The M6 threaded holes are now far enough into the shaft where it will index into the square key much more rigidly. And then also this guy here is going to act as the new side mount. And notice not only do we have attachment points for T-nuts on the top of this mount, which will hold things stable, but these wings here provide much more rigid stiffness in the direction that was failing on that black connector in the back. And then the side mounts will also be clear. So that's going on. What else? Won my first truck race tonight. That was pretty sick. But at Nashville. But let's go. Later.